I wanted to cover in this Tea and Chats, which is always just very casual. Everyone can ask questions. You know, it's not supposed to be a webinar, but it is an opportunity for us to find out, really, is there any benefit to using TikTok, particularly for, 40 plus, for all of us that are not digital natives, meaning we didn't grow up with social media. What can we do about it now? Does it replace the stuff I've already done? Is it good for me? And what are the opportunities? How could it actually help me find some clients and actually drive the growth in my business? Assuming that I don't have hours in the day to create content for another platform. So we come from not so much, we're coming from a dubious perspective, I reckon. Let everyone in the chat, let me know if that's sort of been your thoughts about TikTok or what your kind of concerns are, and I'll make sure that I share them as we chat. But Candice, let's begin.
Well, I'll begin by saying I totally understand how you feel. For someone that was, a professional content creator with my blog and all of these things for many, many years, like 10 years, I hit a wall of content burnout, and I just never wanted to do another piece of content. I did not want to write another blog post. I did not want to do another video. I was entirely tired of taking photos of myself, and I just thought, I do not want to do this. So once TikTok kind of came onto the space and onto the radar, I just thought, oh God, really?
Yeah.
Really?
Really?
Do I have to? So let me start by saying I feel your pain. And I think this is what's really interesting here is that I took 6 months to just play with it. And I still, with the businesses that we run, it's not necessarily appropriate for our client base, but it is for many of our clients. So that's where we've been working on it, looking at it and see where it works. So just to give you a couple of really, really important points to start by, let's call it myth busting, is first of all, the big changes in TikTok have really happened over the last 9 months. And the core with that is, first of all, it's now the world's most downloaded social media app. There are an extra 650,000 new users joining every day. The majority of users are over 30 now. They have surpassed the young guys. So users under 24 is about 5.6 million at the moment. And those 30 and above, it works out, I've got some notes here, about 7 million users. So the majority are in that older age group. So if we're looking at, and I'll just give you, because this might be appropriate to some of you.
I'm typing notes, everyone.
So if we're looking at the 35 to 44-year-old age group, we're looking at now close to 2.5 million users. Right, so that's quite a lot. So that's just some.
Candice, any over 44? What about the 44?
Absolutely, over 44 to 54, about 1.6 million.
Oh, okay. So yep.
And just like I said, it's growing at 650,000 users every day, and the majority of those are over 30. So these numbers will be getting bigger and bigger and bigger every day. And over 55 plus is over 1 million.
Okay. Well, that's great news.
The basic numbers in terms of who's actually on there. And the important thing to note is that it's not just kids dancing that has really, really changed. But the big power of TikTok and why it's such a different animal to Instagram or Facebook is discoverability. The ability for you to get found by your audience is exponentially greater than it is on Facebook and Instagram, where we are so used to having to do the hustle and the hard work to find our audience. The ability to be discovered on TikTok is hard baked into the kind of platform that it is. And Sarah, you and I were talking about this the other day, the really, really big difference that we have to get used to with TikTok and why it's so different to Instagram is it's not about just broadcasting. It's not just about telling people, I have this thing, or I wore this stuff, or get ready with me. It is interactive. And the more you interact with the community that you're building there, the better that discoverability becomes, the better that your content gets shared and shared and shared. So,
wait. So before we move on, just to cement that concept, you're saying that, let's say, if we were comparing TikTok with Instagram, are you saying that the chances of you being found by your ideal client, by someone that wants your services, are higher on TikTok than they are on Instagram?
100%.
Okay,
and
that's massive.
Let's think about how we use Instagram, right? We tend to follow hundreds of people. We like their aesthetic. And we're like, okay, that's really nice. Oh, I'm getting some inspo. Maybe I might save it for later and they'll go back.
Yes.
But it's about how the comments section is used on Instagram. For the most part, it's become something where people jump in there and they're just like, oh, I love your look, whatever. There's not a whole lot of conversation that goes on. The comment section on TikTok is something where that community actually speaks. People engage with each other. It's more similar to YouTube comments. And, there's the good and the bad that go with that, people who don't necessarily agree with your opinion or all those things. But it's a really active comment section. And so what you find is that as you engage more with the people who are watching your videos, or engage with people who are watching other videos, because that's the little, let's call it the water cooler moment. Yep. That's what you get in the comment section there. So be aware that unlike on Instagram, where you're so busy just working on your own engagement and, liking and replying to comments on your own posts, TikTok really encourages you to get involved with other people's content. And this is the key to success in TikTok, is getting involved with what's happening there. So that's not just in the comment section, it's also in terms of how we create the content. And we'll go on to that a little bit more and some of the key secrets to that as well. I don't want to just talk the entire time. I better let you ask some questions too.
This is interesting. And everyone on the call, tell me if you feel the same. And you can just write in the comments. As you all know, I produce a lot of content myself. And I must say, let's say with Instagram, I do start to feel like I am running an online magazine that no one's bloody paying for, in the sense of that constantly just creating content that is digested in a way where it's like, that's nice, that's nice, that's nice. Whereas, and for those of you that have worked with me for a while, you'll know that the power of digital marketing is to move people through a journey. And I get the sense these days that for a lot of us, the content that we're creating on Instagram that we were told to create, before and after photos, testimonials, beautiful styled shots, daily inspo, all of that it's being consumed and then people move on. They don't do anything with it. They don't take anyone on a journey. So to compare that with what Candice is saying about TikTok, when you create something, not only is the content different in that it's not an advertorial, but the conversation that you can generate is going to be more powerful and move people through the buyer's cycle towards working with you, right?
Yeah, it really is. It's all about engagement. It's a completely different style to TikTok, to Instagram. And I'll give you something else that's really, really interesting to know. In terms of the addictive nature of TikTok, right? One of the reasons that it's so addictive is because of the way it pulls us in, it engages us, and we want more all of the time. Yes. We get our favorite creators and we want to see them posting. And so you end up with this list of sort of your top 10 that you're always dying to see. What are they doing next? Now, at the moment, TikTok captures more monthly viewing hours than Facebook and Instagram combined.
Wow, guys, sit on that and let that marinate for a moment, because for all of us that we're thinking of or do advertise, for all of us that are spending all of our time creating content, not being seen.
So we think about like how much screen time we spend on Facebook and Instagram, right? Which is still a lot. The average monthly user on TikTok, and this number is growing, is spending 26 hours a month on TikTok.
And these are, just for those of you that just joined, Erin, hi honey. Again, the 35 to 44 year age group, you've got 2.5 million users. 44 to 54 age group, 1.6 million, and 55 plus over 1 million. And those numbers are growing exponentially. So the days of us thinking that it was just 18-year-olds has gone by. So our customer, our potential client is on TikTok. The question is then, sweet, gentle Jesus, what content do I create for TikTok? And do I do the same for Instagram? Do I do it differently? Am I now running my own TV network? How do we do this?
Exactly. So I want everyone to think about this as a completely new thing. So understand that what you've done for Instagram, right? If you're producing for Instagram, Reels, Shorts, all of these sorts of things, that's one mindset and one style. It doesn't really work as well when you share it back with TikTok, because, we're always trying to multi-purpose our content.
Yes.
It works the other way, and Instagram is relying on that at the moment, that people are creating TikToks and sharing them on Instagram, but it doesn't really work the other way back. And there's a few reasons for that, and it's all down to that community style of posting. TikTok is much more raw. So it's the rough and ready style. You don't need to be hyper produced. People prefer it if you're not. So even, shaky camera angles, or just this is what I did. People want to be able to connect with that real you. And one of the big draw cards with TikTok that we see all the time is people saying, it made me feel normal. It made me feel like I'm okay and I'm not the only freak out there. I'm not the only person that has this problem.
I think for many of you would know Trini from Trini and Susanna, and Trini's style videos where on Instagram, where she will do a live with someone, and then they're just trying on clothing. And I think the part of the popularity of that type of content for Trini was that she wasn't editing her content, so there was no mistakenly pronounced words or bad lighting or mistakes of any kind. That the reason why we engage with that is because it's real. We can see that it's not hyper produced. So for those of you that have been interested in creating video content but have not felt particularly comfortable, this is the reason why I wanted to talk about TikTok today. It's because you kind of have this platform where it's okay to be shit at it. And when I say you're not going to be shit at it, but we've been sort of conditioned to think that everything needs to be perfect when it's online. So by comparison, doing something that isn't perfect, you'll think, oh my God, this is absolute rubbish. But that honesty and that rawness, that trust is what the client, what the customer wants to see, which is why they then buy with you. So this is a great, exciting time.
Yeah, I think particularly in the styling industry, this is something that is really important. And I know that when I was working face-to-face with clients, that connection that you get with them, of them being able to say, I can do this, or this made me feel better, being able to convey that emotion in a way that you can be inspirational for people, but not intimidating, right? And quite often we can come across as too polished, too much, I know this, I know that. And there's that barrier for a lot of clients going, okay, maybe I am too bad. Maybe I'm really in such a bad way that I want to try, like we clean before the cleaner comes. Yes. Maybe I want to pre-do my wardrobe before the stylist
Yes, hello. This is, as I've said a million times, this is my fear of stylists coming into my bedroom, my home. I'm like, I'm too embarrassed, so I'm just going to suffer in silence. But to that point, and this is really interesting for all of you as image professionals, it's almost like it's important in your marketing to show people that you are still like them, but you just know what to dress, what to put on. And as opposed to some of the styling sort of personalities that we see online present what could be perceived as a perfect image the entire time. And what happens when you look at that is you go, well, I could never look like that. Now, if they wake up and they show you their journey, then you go, okay, cool. Maybe I could if I knew what she knew. So that's again why I like the TikTok component, because it's almost subconsciously reminding you that here is a professional that actually can tell you what to, help you create your style, help you find extra time in the morning by curating outfits in advance, whatever your service is. But you feel like the two of you are just as messy as each other, so you feel safe, because that's safety. Like I had one of my styling clients come and do a wardrobe edit a couple of weeks ago, and I literally said, I need you to prove that your house is as revolting as mine before I let you in, because I am too embarrassed. Now, that's insane, obviously, but what I'm saying, it's that trust piece and that vulnerability which we need to get through. So maybe TikTok might facilitate that trust.
I think it does. And because of that rawness, it also allows us to look at people. And when you consider who you start to follow, it's people that you go, they understand what it's like to walk a mile in my shoes, right? So, for example, if you're a stylist for a new mum who's going back to work and you've got all these wonderful ideas, then on TikTok, you might be able to show things like, okay, so here's a few hacks that we use to cover up the baby spit that we've just noticed when we got to work. So it's those really raw moments that are often extremely difficult to communicate through a lot of your other marketing materials or blog posts or Instagram, that you can make humorous and that you can connect with people on that common ground of going, yeah, I get it. And I know that this is difficult, or I know that this is a challenge that you're going to face. It could even be things like, I was working with an older lady a while back who was 60, and she was really struggling she always wanted to wear stockings. How do we put on the stockings? And we had the funniest time trying to figure out the way that the two of us would do this if we couldn't bend a certain way. So this kind of content is the funny pieces that go to make these very raw, very relatable videos that not only help your ideal client identify that, yeah, they are your ideal client, and yes, you can help them, but it's entertaining and they want more of it. And that's where that addictive part of TikTok comes in, that we see those, 26 hours a month average viewing time, which is a part-time job when you think about it. It's crazy. And that it's just getting more and more. So that these become our favorite go-to people. And once that relationship is established with your niche, and it doesn't need to be 1 million people, it just needs to be what works for you and the size of your business and the size of what you can generate in terms of leads and handle that in your business. Now, we don't need to have 5 million followers in order to get the clients that we need. We just need the right group.
And that will lead on. Again, guys, ask your questions in the chat, and we'll go through them at the end. I wanted to make sure that in this catch up we got to talk about what we can do right now, but more importantly, why the introduction of live streaming, like in-app live shopping, which hasn't reached our shores yet. For Australia, we can't do this yet, but in the US you can. But why that type of feature has positively impacted the styling industry. What can we do to capitalize on that?
Yeah. Okay, this is a great one. I am so excited about this. I cannot wait for it to come to Australia. And I'm telling all of my clients, make sure that you have your TikTok business account set up and that you have your TikTok shop set up. Even if you have nothing in it, just make sure that back end is set up first. So I'll give you an example of why this is so powerful for businesses like yours. And I do a lot of research based on what's happening with the Chinese version of TikTok, because that's been going a lot longer. We're able to see a lot more data to see how things are performing, right? So, for example, if we take the live shopping feature, and I know everybody knows what live shopping is, kind of like tele shopping, the old QVC style, but we have that. And we set that up that this is my channel. People who want to shop from me, I will show them my wonderful product and they can buy that live from my TikTok shop. It's all integrated. It's nice and easy. Now, if you've developed the right community, you're going to have a much, much higher chance of selling to them, whether that is a service, whether that is a hard product. It can be any of those things.
But this is interesting. I would say
product. Yeah.
Okay, that's what I want to talk about, because I know, Naomi, this might be interesting for you if you're still doing products, but for those of you that are either selling color swatches or additional products, some of you might also be selling a beauty brand. But for those of you that are selling nothing but yourself and your incredible talent, you can still use the TikTok shop to sell this service. That is the exciting part, I think.
Yeah, it absolutely is. And it also opens up opportunities for you in the future when you think about, well, what else can I do with my business? What can I do that scales beyond me and my hours in the day, right? Mm-hmm. So maybe it is a download that you have that you want to sell. Maybe it is color swatches. Maybe you do have your own little line of jewelry or something that you want to do there. The world is really your oyster, but getting that set up is important. So the community factor of TikTok is where the success of this is baked in. So, for example, if we look at 2 TikTok live streams, and one is this gorgeous model, and she's modeling for a particular clothing brand. She's selling all of these things. And during their live shopping, they do about $200,000 in sales, right? Sounds pretty good for half an hour.
Yeah.
Okay. The other example is a woman who is much heavier. She's a little bit older, but she's built a niche following around how to dress for her body type, how to dress for her age, how to dress so that she feels more comfortable in her life. And this is what she's done to build her community. Then she does her live shopping. And what she does is she shows and sells all of the clothes that she wears. So she, for example, says, okay, I've got this jacket. This is my favorite jacket. I have 100 of these pieces here in this plus size. I'm going to sell these for you today. Now, in the same amount of time, excuse me, that woman sold $2.8 million worth of clothing.
Take a sip of water, Candice, and I'll just take the floor for a brief moment. So this is exciting news because, as we know, we're always banging on about a niche. I think you told me yesterday, for everyone right now, Jennifer's asking, do you need TikTok to be a business account?
Yes, you do.
Yeah. So which you can literally just go into the settings and switch it over to a business account. And then from my understanding, TikTok is now integrated with WooCommerce and a whole host of other commerce plugins. So for those of you that already have on your website, products that you're selling, this is great. It means you can sell them on TikTok. And you think to yourself, well, that's good. I can also put a link on Linktree in Instagram. So what? I think what Candice is saying is that it's like if you've got a shop on Instagram and you've got a shop on TikTok, and we just pretend for a moment that they are in real life 2 shops. One shop is dead silent. Everyone's just walking past it. They're looking in the window and then they're just walking past. That's Instagram. The other shop is TikTok, where you might have only 5 people in there, but they're all sitting down with a cup of tea chatting. Who's going to get more sales? Is anyone with me on this analogy, or did it just...
I get what you're saying, and I'll give you another figure here because I love my figures.
Yes.
But the consumer spending on TikTok, and this is not just products, this is also includes services, has increased by 77% last year, and overall users spent $2.3 billion inside TikTok. So everyone that has live shopping, or they have their shop, their WooCommerce, their Shopify, their BigCommerce, whatever, integrated with TikTok, where it does automatic product feeds, catalogs, etc. $2.3 billion last year was spent in that app.
What I saw last year a lot of is business coaches, psychics. Obviously, you've all heard me talk about ghosts and things. I love it. So I'm now being shown in my TikTok a lot of people doing live card readings, which I think is hilarious and fabulous in equal measure. But it really, really interesting. I said, just to explain to you how some business owners, small startup business owners with no money for marketing, are using TikTok. They will literally be doing a tarot reading, and it will be like, comment your name and your birth date, and I'll do a reading or what have you to get engagement. And then they have a sign in the background, like as if I would have a sign here that says, half an hour private readings, 30 minutes or whatever, which is clever. But then with their TikTok account, they've got the ability to sell, whether it's an hour appointment, 2-hour appointment, all of those packages, that's connected to a scheduling app. So it's like a little mini, it's like you're on an island trying to find your people, and everyone's wanting to have a chat and wanting to engage in a different way that should take the pressure off you, feeling like you need to compete with your peers in the Instagram space that's very fancy a lot of the time, right?
I'll add one more thing to this, and just to go back to what we were talking about at the beginning, the ability to be discovered on TikTok. So how are these people actually finding you? A huge difference between TikTok and Facebook and Instagram is the algorithm in TikTok. And that is the supercharge behind the power of TikTok. It is the most sophisticated algorithm out there. If you already have a TikTok account, you'll understand that there is the For You page, right? That's the main page that everybody lands on. And you're not following any of these people. It just serves up what it thinks you want.
That's just like the Explore page in Instagram, right?
Exactly. But that is essentially your home page in TikTok, right? Not who you follow. That is another page that you can go to. I still find that even though I follow probably 250 accounts on TikTok, I spend most of my time on the For You page. The algorithm is so sophisticated that it knows you better than you know yourself. And what it serves you is almost spooky in how good it is in understanding what your likes are, what your niche is, things that you don't even necessarily know about yourself. And then it starts serving it up and you're going, wow, that's actually creepy.
Can I know that example? So not only do I get served live tarot card readings, but I only get served makeup tutorials from women who are 40 plus who are also taking the piss with their makeup application. It's that this is
that, right?
That is the nuance there that I'm trying to make. It's people that are doing it because they're having a laugh, and then it's almost like a parody. So I'm not being served I don't want to see an 18-year-old apply a concealer. How's that going to help me? I want to see exactly what my face looks like from people that have my humor. So that's how niche the sort of For You page is for me, at least. So it'd be fun for you guys to have a look and see what it's serving you, just to get an idea of the power of that algorithm.
Even with a completely fresh account, if within a day or two, it'll refine itself to the point that you just won't believe how good it is at what it's serving you. So that's one part. The other part is the search function, how we find things that we're after. Unlike Instagram and Facebook, TikTok has started to become more of a search engine, and that's how people are using it now, because there are so many answers to questions in these videos. So in the search function, you could put in, help me find my rich mum aesthetic, which is a big trend at the moment, right? And what it will do is not just go, here is the hashtag, here is the top posts, but it will give you all of the trending posts in that space. It will give you all of the related hashtags. It will suggest to you a number of searches. And the other key part to this is with TikTok, it uses sounds, so music, and it will show you what sounds are trending in that space so that you can use those same trending sounds to make your videos and get onto that wave. So it makes it intuitive of how you actually ride those waves of things that you're interested in. And they can be the most niche topics you just wouldn't believe when you actually start searching, that you go down these rabbit holes. So I would never advise with TikTok to do what we often do with Instagram and make a spreadsheet of hashtags and copy and paste them across. You're actually better off to really allow your creativity to go to town and think about, well, what is it that I want to write about? Who is this for? It could be things like, to use our example before, cover up baby spit. That could be our hashtag.
Yeah.
If you put that into the search function, you will find anything that's related to that and see what's working for people. So that's one really big piece. Then how do you start to get your content out there even more over and above the For You page? And again, Sarah, you and I have spoken about this too, but what it does is it really encourages you to interact with other creators. So if I make a video talking about, this is how I cover up baby spit, I will ask people to make their own video, because an inbuilt part of TikTok is the ability to what's called duet or stitch those videos, which means that when I make my video, it's a split screen. It's me doing my thing, and then someone else will respond with a video response on that split screen. So when that goes out, it goes out to both of our audiences. And that becomes exponentially greater as more and more people get involved in answering that. And quite often you could find that there are videos where there could be 6 people all duetting, and you'll have 6 people on the screen creating this and having a laugh or having an answer to this or asking a question back. So it really encourages the content creation from an engagement standpoint.
I think we talked about an example, thinking about something you could all do today as a test, which would encourage duetting, stitching, and that sort of engagement from your community, which is tell me you need a stylist without telling me you need a stylist. And something like, if you can imagine, your audience is then, your ideal client who might find you or be following you already, might create a funny video of them just standing in a closet with, nothing to wear or something. That's not funny, as an example, but you get my idea. So it's something really simple. Candice, do you want to just talk them through that so they can actually get onto this today?
Of course. So quick question in the chat, are most people already on TikTok, or is this completely new?
I will report as the answers come in.
Okay.
No answers. Anyone?
Anybody already there? Not there?
Bueller? Anyone? Ferris Bueller?
Well, we'll do it as a challenge. Sarah can do it first, and then you can all watch what she does so that we can see how it works.
Okay.
But essentially, you will create your video inside TikTok. It'll be Sarah doing something, asking, tell me you need a stylist without telling me you need a stylist. And the idea is that in order to create your answer, you just do a video back to her. And there's some really simple features that on your phone, when you're making the recording, it literally says stitch this video, and you press the button and that's it. You just record your video of you doing whatever it is. So it could be me standing there in front of my entire closet that is black from the last 2 years.
Yes. Yes.
Really, really sad. Not great. And then we see that, that's my answer. And I might also add something to that if I wanted to, or that now goes on my page, and then Sarah can reshare it on her page because it's an answer to her question. So what we find is that it's like a domino effect, and it all starts to stack up where we get more and more responses, more people engage with it. You'll find that over time, and not a whole lot of time either, things can work very, very quickly. Even if you are just someone who sits there and likes to watch TikTok for a little bit to get the feel for it, once you look at this from the business point of view, you'll get more of a handle on how people are using it. And how, as I said before, it's not really just a broadcast tool. It's so much more community engagement tool.
So a couple of things. Erin said with a business account. Do you mean, Erin, you can take yourself off mute unless I've here we go. The settings, just clarify what you mean. And bring
yes, I'm on TikTok and I have converted it. I have an account and I've converted it to a business account, and I've made some reels. I mean, not reels. I've made some TikToks, and then I found a link online where you can strip off the TikTok logo and bring it into Instagram Reels.
Yes.
So that's been really great because my TikTok gets views. But honestly, when I bring it in Instagram, because we have more followers there, I get like 5 times the views. TikTok got 800 views. Instagram Reel version of it got 4,000 views. Isn't that interesting? So I think it depends on building up your followers too.
It absolutely does. And it's also something where I was saying you can go that direction. You can make your TikTok and then share it across your Instagram, so you get double duty. It just doesn't work so well going the other way back. So the real trick is that when you're looking at creating content, thinking about, well, what is the purpose? So if I'm creating for Instagram, I can do that with my TikTok and share it across, so I don't have to spend twice as much time. But if I'm really trying to grow a new account inside TikTok and I'm really trying to find that audience, then what you want to do is make the best use you can of those features of stitching, duetting, using trending sounds is such a big one. When you do those things that don't translate to Instagram, they don't have trending sounds and all this sort of thing, you'll find that the way that your account starts to grow really quickly, and I'm talking like 2,000 people overnight. My daughter was doing something new last night on her TikTok, and she said, "Oh, Mum, I've got this new drawing style. I want to share it with people." And she started doing it with trending sounds, and she woke up this morning at breakfast with her toast going, "Mum, I've got 3,500 new followers overnight. I'm so excited."
Bloody hell.
Mm-hmm.
Please tell the audience how old your daughter is.
She's 14.
Okay, that's great news.
And she's just trying to share her art style, and found all of these people that were into it. And she did that just saying, "Hey, I'm drawing a thing here. This is my art style. Comment something that you'd like me to draw for the next thing." Overnight. She's
Clever.
using her trending sounds. She gets all the things come through. So in the same way, we can use that same theory as stylists to say, okay, comment a way that you want me to wear a high-waisted, wide-leg pant, something that's really on trend at the moment for women that are pear-shaped, right? Comment a way that you'd like to see me wear it. Casual, wedding style, work style, whatever it is, and then use that and respond back to those comments so that you can paste the comments on the screen, you can create your video, but it's the mindset of the TikTok user is that that's how they engage and that's what they will create. Whereas the mindset of the mainly Instagram user, they don't tend to do that as often, or certainly not in the same numbers, and they don't make videos in response to share with their own audience.
And there's an interesting argument that as image professionals, you are all trained to be able to style anyone effectively, applying the technical components of styling in your own aesthetic. But ultimately, you are a creative in a creative industry where people look to you and they either connect with you on a subconscious or a conscious level or not. So when it comes to creating content, perhaps it's time to lean into your own body shape, your own style, and become an expert in that as an initial kind of branding exercise, rather than trying to create content that is going to appeal to everyone of every body shape and every style. So as Candice has just explained, it's going to be very hard for you to say, comment on how you'd like me to wear, how you'd like me to style wide leg pants on a pear shape if you're not a pear shape. So the only thing you can do,
a really good friend who likes to show up and do videos with you or something along those lines, but
True.
You can get creative.
Okay, and so let's just to wrap up. Tell me this, Candice. Maybe for everyone, just so they understand, I don't want everyone to walk away thinking like, my God, I've now got an additional, content stream that I need to manage. So maybe with Instagram, what advice would you give people in terms of a type of content that still works really well on Instagram versus a type of content for TikTok? And maybe if you guys if you're interested in trying something new, you kind of think of it that way. So, I'm assuming with Instagram still very visual, you've got your before and afters, or you've got your shoppable mood boards. But then is there another content type that you think is still doing really well on Instagram, and then how you can complement it with a different type of TikTok?
I think you could actually do double duty. So just let's take the get ready with me videos, right? Mm-hmm. Erin, I was watching one of yours this morning of, I think it was Cozy Style, and you had this lovely blue sweater. And I'm like, oh, that's really cute, right? And that works well on both of those platforms. We can take that to Instagram, we can take that to TikTok. But one of the things that we can do with TikTok too is do a little bit of the behind the scenes. What actually happens when I'm getting dressed. And, is it as easy and as smooth as it looks at the end? Or, oh, did I have to run and iron my pants suddenly in the middle? And one of those is, love wearing white pants, but I'm always finding a stain on them. Or do you iron all of your clothes before you hang them up? This is one of the things that I should do, right? So it's just a simple little thing that you could take 20 seconds, a minute out of that Instagram post of where you're making the polished version, and just take a little piece of reality out and make your video for TikTok as well.
Isn't that interesting? Because I'm imagining in my brain, if I was to see Instagram and TikTok, Instagram is the sort of the main movie, but TikTok is like the bloopers and the behind the scenes reel that gets created and rolls the credits, which kind of goes against the grain for all of us who have been brought up to assume that when you market your business and your brand, you need to present the polish because you obviously want to communicate that you're very professional, you're reliable, you understand their needs. So it goes against the grain to go, let me just show you my, the underbelly, the reality, which is what we're asking you to do in TikTok. Yeah. Does anyone else feel like that?
Different. Just showing that difference and making that something. It doesn't have to, take away from your professionalism. So let's use the ironed pants as an example. How good they look when they're ironed, as opposed to, I ran out of time, I didn't iron my pants. So I've spent all this money on a stylist and great pants, but if you don't iron them, they're still going to look terrible.
True.
So just showing those little moments of the reality of how this stuff is put together. So I think that there's a lot of opportunity in there, and the more time that you spend, even just putting a toe in the water, getting used to being a viewer, start having a look at videos that are in your niche, see what other people are doing, see what's trending, see who's doing things more seriously, who's doing things more comedically. Just get a feel for that space first, but know that it's worth your while. And I think if there's one thing that I'd want people to take away from today, it's know that it's worth your while to get familiar with this space, to set up your business account with the shopping feature, even if you don't use it right now, so that once you're comfortable in the space and you understand how it works, you're well positioned to take that next step.
And I think it's important. I want to make sure that everyone watching this now and the recording understands Candice and the Co-Pilot team work with much larger businesses with massive advertising budgets. So what we get from Candice's insights is how small business owners with no marketing or advertising budget can compete in this landscape. So if Candice is saying that TikTok is going to be an opportunity for you to leverage a relatively new platform, it's not that it's new, but it's not at sort of from a saturation perspective, I guess there's opportunities for you to craft your niche as an early adopter, certainly when it comes to the live shopping component of TikTok. But we're just trying to give you ideas to be scrappy and hustle in a way that doesn't feel overwhelming, because none of us can handle the anxiety and the pressure of that. But just little ways that you can get your business going and meet more clients and build a more robust community. When you don't have the cash flow to just turn on a complex advertising funnel, which we all wish we did, don't we, guys? Let me just check. Erin says, I get so bored with all the little tips. It's exploring ideas for deeper content that still connects. Yes. Do you want to jump off mute again, Erin? Here we go.
Oh, hi. Yeah, I mean, I've definitely done the Get Ready With Me and some stuff, but I'm trying to find that balance between I'm a little too introverted to be like, come into my everyday life and get to know me all the time. Like that doesn't quite work for me. Versus just the little style tips. I'm gonna sort of search TikTok for coaches who are kind of like inspiring but being real. Yeah. Anyways, I was just
such a good point. No, that's such a good point, because for a lot of us, and correct me if I'm wrong, but you enter into an industry where yes, it's about fashion, but it's ultimately about people and connecting. And a lot of you would be empaths, or you would have a background in NLP, or, this is stuff that is real, which is why I've always find it fascinating. We're then sort of told to present in a way that is sort of not aligned to the healing work that you do. So it is difficult to start letting people into your world in a way that feels appropriate for you. So I think, Erin, your suggestion is right. Have a look at how other people are doing it to get the ideas. That's yeah, it is.
I feel like if we could find, because I know that creating content for myself and for a lot of stylists feels like feeding the monster. Like you just constantly have to like come up with stuff.
Yeah.
But it can I feel like if each person can find their sweet spot of like, what's joyful content for me to create that feels really authentic to my personality, doesn't take heaps and heaps of energy, that's the magic sweet intersection. And I think that's what I'm looking for. And probably that's what a lot of stylists are looking for.
Yeah. I can give you a shortcut to that one if you like.
Yes.
So here's my number one tip on that, right? As a shortcut, don't try and reinvent the wheel. One of the great things with TikTok is the whole purpose behind a lot of the videos is to take what other people have done and copy it. So if you see someone saying, this is the best way to style a scarf, for example, the concept of stitching it and saying, this is how I think it's the best way to style a scarf for me. Like it actively encourages you to look at what other people are doing and to emulate that and to share that and to get across those audiences.
Yeah, with your own personality. And to your point, that's exactly what I did for my first TikTok. I said, and hopefully this will encourage people listening, I was really challenged to learn TikTok one day. My daughter had COVID, my 12-year-old daughter, but she is a master at TikTok, of course. And so she put on her mask and I risked it. And she actually helped me, work through things. But the first TikTok I made was basically copying this theme or this trend or this topic that had come up, which was how the Golden Girls TV show, their style compares with Sex and the City style, same age, but how the Golden Girls look 20 years older. So I basically I found some TikToks on it, but then I did my own take on it and my own little images and got my 12-year-old daughter's help to kind of get through the, little learning curve. And fortunately I did not catch her COVID because it was pretty risky. But yeah, exactly what you were saying, Candace, is to kind of like copy, but then do your own take.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I loved that one. I remember seeing that, Erin, and being like, that is phenomenal. I saw it on Instagram. So, as you'd shared it, that's a really great one, I think, as an example for anyone on the call or anyone that watches the recording. Have a look at Erin's TikTok account. What's your handle? What's your
Erin Style Coach.
Erin Style Coach, because that would be a great one for all of you to kind of try out as well, which is essentially having an image in the background, which is, again, you can just Google or YouTube how to, which setting it is to get a photo in the background, and you're talking to the photo. Just all of this is about just spending a few minutes, here and there, just familiarizing yourself, as Candace said, having a look what other people are doing, just learning one new thing and then seeing how you go. But hopefully it's given everyone some food for thought. Candace, thank you so much for sharing your digital genius with us. Does anyone have any questions for Candace before we leave the cafe, so to speak?
Happy to answer questions here or even on Facebook for a little while.
People can jump off mute if they can, if I've not buggered up the features. I'm just going to tell everyone to unmute. All right. Thank you so much, my love. Thank you, everyone, for coming. And I hope it was useful for everyone.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks so much.
I really appreciate it.
Bye, everyone.